Joining us now, Chronic Hoosier. How are you, sir?
Glad to be back. Glad to be back. Wish we had some more dubs to talk about, but hey, it's 1 week from basketball season, so all is as good as could be expected, I guess, at this point in the year here in Bloomington.
Yeah, unfortunately, this football season is, and when you say people say disappointment, this one is truly been a disappointing season because the expectations were rightfully there, and people ask me all the time, and I'm like, I don't know. I do not know what happened to the offensive line, Kevin. I don't know why they regressed so badly with a group that didn't change hardly. The offense that regressed so badly, there was a lot of regression, and I don't have the answer. I mean, I can guess, but there was certainly regression on that side of the ball, and has led to this season. Now, of course, there were injuries, but that aside, there was still regression. I think, and I don't know why.
Maybe guys like Wap Fillier and Stevie Scott and Harry Kreider are better than we thought. That could possibly be it. Maybe they were more important than we thought they were. But I think too, the way the schedule laid out this season, in terms of and some of the injuries, in terms of when you lose a guy like DJ Matthews, who really showed something in that Cincinnati game as that kind of dynamic speed threat, and now you don't have him. I think that hurts, but and the injuries just kind of wore on during the course of the season with that. I mean, Tywan Mullen, an All-American cornerback, is not himself. Obviously, he tried to play that Maryland game, but he wasn't at full speed. And Micah McFadden is playing his tail off. He's been, the best player on the defense, but you needed Tywan, I think, as that second All-American to kind of anchor it there. I just think it's been a combination, a perfect storm of factors that have led to this, certainly this regression. But and football's a game of momentum too. You lose games, losses pile upon losses. It's hard to get up every week also for that. So it's all kind of gone downhill this season.
Chronic, they certainly, I mean, golly, and the games against Cincinnati and Michigan State, games that wow, you thought that they could have easily won those games, and you see where Cincinnati and Michigan State are right now, and it really makes you scratch your head and say, kick the can down the road.
Yeah, I keep having flashbacks to that Cincinnati game. I mean, just postcard perfect day at Memorial Stadium, packed house, ranked team. Had every opportunity to basically wipe the slate clean after that stinker in Iowa, and it got away from them. It got away from them, and so has gone the season for the most part, pretty much since then. I mean, quite honestly, this was a team that still put up a decent enough fight against Michigan State, but as we've seen too often this year, when the defense put them in position to win, the offense just couldn't get it done. And this season, in a lot of ways, was no different than last year. I mean, I think we all pretty much agreed before it started this year and last that, they're going to go as far as Michael Penix can take them on offense. And that was true last year, and it's held pretty true this year with, the slight exception being, we never quite saw him in what I would consider full form, since his most recent injury. Well, knee injury at least. But just a really, really unfortunate season, really disappointing on a number of levels. But, I think it highlights just how tenuously positioned Indiana's success has been, even when it was, kind of at its apex last year. This has been a team, the way it's constructed, the way it has to, whom it has to compete against. Once you start getting into that depth chart, you start showing some chinks in the armor. And as good as this team's gotten at the top, I think, as we've seen, there's still quite a ways to go as you start moving down the depth chart. Here we are on our third string quarterback with a walk-on serving as backup now, which, as luck would have it, was probably one of the lone bright spots coming out of Maryland last weekend. I thought McCauley looked really, really poised. Probably one of the, not probably, I'd say that's the best offensive performance of the season from Indiana football. Unfortunately, it was arguably the worst performance from the defense this whole season, and it's just so is IU football's luck in 2021. I don't know what else to say, and I hate to be that hardened, bitter old IU fan. This is all too familiar in a lot of ways. And it would be great if we could say those days were past Indiana. But you are what your record says you were, and right now you're the worst team in the Big Ten.
And you are what I think Chronic too. You are what your program history says in a way too, because I looked this up yesterday, and only one time in school history have they been to bowl game 3 straight years, and that was Mallory. I think it was 86 to 88, and that's what Indiana was, and that's what Indiana was striving for. But it just shows you that, and I think as some of the big boys in the conference post-pandemic kind of got their act together, the Michigans, the Michigan States, certainly the Penn States, that now Indiana's back to that kind of right now to that second tier status, and they're going to have to work out. But I do think that 2022 class coming in, combined with Donovan McCulley and what he showed, a year or two down the line, you could have a team that could be dynamic again.
Yeah, I mean, they're not that far off. I mean, they're really not. I mean, again, this was a team that was more than capable, that had everything it needed to beat Cincinnati if it just could have cleaned up some of the execution, some of the play calling. That Michigan State game, this is for all the plaudits that Michigan State's getting right now. I'm sorry, they are one of the softest top 10 teams in the nation. I mean, they have one win versus
I say the same about Cincinnati too. I mean, I'm like, I can't believe both of those teams are that high.
Michigan State has one win just this weekend versus a team with a winning record at this point in the season. I think Indiana showed that they're not that great, to be totally honest. But they are, they found ways to win those games, and all credit to them. I'm not trying to discount that in any way, shape, or form. Part of it though is look at nobody else. That's one of the frustrations is you should hear in your splitting hairs about how good is this team that beat us. At the end of the day, we've been beat by a lot of decent teams. We've been, it's just been an absolute murderer's row so far this year. And as challenging as it was, you look at the other side of the coin, Indiana had a lot of opportunities to show the nation that it's better than what its record says it is. And unfortunately, it just didn't work out that way. So you're left with this. And, while they're not mathematically eliminated from bowl eligibility yet, it's going to be, the toughest stretch of games to get there that perhaps Indiana's ever had to mount for a program that's not or that's not, it's not a foreign thing for them to be playing down to the wire, trying to get that magical 6 win. We've seen that time and time again when Indiana has been mediocre. This is a team that should be far better than mediocre right now. And I think we're going to learn a lot about what's really inside that locker room now that the luster, kind of the shine of LEO from last year is worn off. It's got to be a bunker mentality in there. And I fully expect to see their best fight with what they got left, with what they have healthy, up against Michigan this weekend. And I'm certainly not going to lay any money on it like I did last weekend, because that was a little bitter pill to swallow. That was the emotional hedge bet, knowing that it probably wasn't going to go well, but if it doesn't, at least you got something to make feel better. I do think, though, we're going to see hopefully one of the cleaner performances from Indiana, because there's a lot of controllables that have cost them pretty dearly this year, and it's all on the line at this point.
You could have been me. I took the under. And I was like, are you kidding me? I was happy to see it, but I was like, really? I did not expect that. So kind of a slugfest turned out to be, but yeah. But we'll move forward. That basketball season around the corner. We'll get to talk to you once more before the games start next Tuesday. But next Tuesday, CBB, baby, college basketball is here, and a lot of people are excited about that. I know that a lot of Indiana fans are happy about that because they have yet to see this team, even though they have played 3 games. And from all indications, they have been 3 wins. Most recently, of course, the secret scrimmage down in Louisville at the Yum Center against Belmont last Saturday, a game in which they allegedly won by 11. hit all 11 of their free throws. I think they were 8 of 24 from behind the 3-point line, 5 of 10 in the first half. It was what Dane Fife told us yesterday. But so it sounds like things are going well, and everyone looking forward to seeing this team. Of course, there's a couple injuries yet, guys still out, but next Tuesday, baby, it's bell time. Ding, ding.
I'll tell you what, that may be one of the better opportunities too for folks that are as excited as I am, or even remotely close, to come check it out. It's a really, really wonky opener. 6 o'clock on a Tuesday is just a tough pull for a lot of folks traveling from outside the area, especially with the condition of 69, 67, and that whole route to get down here right now. Still some pretty cheap tickets available for those looking to get down and take a look at these guys. I'm looking forward to it. I'm just ready to get back in the gym. I'm ready to hear Chuck Crabb coming across the PA system again, just to get back, just to partake in the ritual again, take my kid in there and just all of that. It's something that we greatly missed here during the COVID shutdowns, and I'm just happy to get back. I'm as happy as I've probably been since the 2012-2013 season, just to get it started, just to get back in the gym and see the boys get some run, and just see that ball go in the hoop again, man.